A couple of weeks ago, I gave a speech in my Toastmasters group about dictation. We're screenwriters, and so the thrust was about how to do writing or dictating your writing for a screenplay. I got some feedback. I've made some tweaks and edits. So here we have the updated version of Ready, Set, Dictate. I like to start with an agenda. So I will be going through my breakthroughs on dictation, how to fix dictation, and how to format screenplays. At the end of what I gave originally, I will indulge in a couple of details about how I do things. So in October, I was Table Topics Master, and I brought up the discussion of dictation. I found that some people are already doing it. Others were interested in it. And there were those who were like, no, don't even want to try. Before I go any further, I do want to do a shout out to Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer. She does a dictation boot camp twice a year. And at any point in time, if you're interested, you can sign up for her fictation course if you want to learn more from somebody who has done this to write the first drafts of several novels. I think she's up to 9 or 10 at this point. Obviously, she's the person, and I don't want to tell you what her course covered, but I do want to share my breakthroughs. So, one, free options are available, and they're decent. I was delighted. I thought I was going to have to pay, I don't know, $10 a month or something like that to get something that works. But there are free options. Second, it's so helpful to practice and to do this on a daily basis. I use journaling to do this first thing in my morning to get started right. 3, plan in time to edit so that you avoid overload. When I first started doing this 10 years ago with Dragon Naturally Speaking, I would dictate 2-hour chunks. That's way too much. No wonder I got overloaded and quit. 4, for me, when I'm talking, it quiets my inner critic. So that's beautiful. Those of us who are writers know how often we write something on the page and then we want to immediately go back and check it and make it better. You can't do that when you're dictating, and that's brilliant. And 5th, I can dictate in all kinds of spaces in my life where I don't have my hands available to type. Like when I'm walking or when I'm driving. I live in DC. Our traffic is notorious. Or when I'm tidying up around my house. It's lovely to no longer have tension between keeping my house not horrible and creating. Now, the challenge is that dictation can be kind of ugly. When I was originally just dictating the original version of this talk, this is how the transcription went. I said, we're here for screenwriting. It missed that. I was saying, if you're a bit of a pantser, which means just writing from the seat of your pants, not cancer. Oh my gosh. And as you can see, there's times when it just randomly capitalizes and the punctuation's wonky. I sometimes speak punctuation, sometimes I don't. And then finally, it said 3x structure. I was talking about a 3-act structure. This can be tedious to deal with. One of the other folks posted the idea of using AI to help clean things up. I like using ChatGPT because if you go into settings and down to data controls, that thing that says improve the model for everyone, you can turn that off. So the prompt that was shared on Facebook amongst the dictation group was, please proofread and edit the following. Do not rewrite any of the content. Adjust capitalization, quotation, and punctuation marks and typos as needed. If it makes sense, write out numerals as words. Clean up any formatting errors. Now, when I started with this transcription and I gave it that prompt, I ended up with this, which, if I don't care about my words, is fine. But as creators, we can't copyright text if it was generated by AI. And as you can see from that prior example, there were a lot of words changed, even though it said, don't change anything. AI just did anyway. Now, I originally said you can edit it with AI, and people who have done editing were very upset that I said editing. They didn't get as mad when I said, well, copy editing. But even if you just ask AI to copy edit, it'll get creative, and that's not okay. So the new prompt that I now use is, without changing any words, correct punctuation and capitalization of the following transcription, and then I'll paste in the transcription. Now, if you are using ChatGPT, a couple notes. One is the free version will limit the amount of text that it will process in a given session. I frequently find that my morning journal session exceeds that buffer. Luckily, it'll just like stop. So I can paste in for the part that it did, and I still have the original ugly for the other part, and I can do that. But I need to start a new session, because if I just, when I've pasted in the second half of the journal entry, it will try to combine the two into a unified whole. And again, it's getting creative, and I don't want it to get creative. So start a new session for each chunk of transcription that you put in. So here's how it goes. Original transcription, and when I give that prompt of don't change any words, just correct capitalization and punctuation, remember what our particular problems were. It cleans it up a fair amount, but it's keeping words, even the wrong words like screening and cancer. So that allows me, as the creator of this set of text, to go in and then actually edit, and then I am the creator, and ChatGPT or the other AIs you might want to use are not the creator of your text. So screenwriting, because me and my friends, we like to do screenwriting. Here's a scene from The Wizard of Oz, and with the exception of the capitalized directions that this is exterior yellow brick road day, the rest looks like a cleaned up version of something a person could dictate. Dorothy walks along the yellow brick road with Toto. Suddenly, she notices a scarecrow in a field, propped up on a post. And then when you get to the dialogue, you would say, for example, new line, Dorothy, new line. Why, you're not just any old scarecrow, are you? New line, new line. The scarecrow struggles, moving his head slowly. New line, and so on. But this doesn't look like a screenplay. What you can do is take this into any of a variety of programs for screenplays. And here I'm using Final Draft. This is Final Draft 13, but I've made it show the classic view so that you're not getting confused by bells and whistles. What you do is you go up to, well, first you paste in the text. Then you go up to Tools, and you pull down until you get to Reformat. And that will pop up this menu, and it'll highlight a chunk of text. Now it might highlight the last chunk of text, and you can just, I think it's tab to get it to the next place. But anyway, so this first thing, it's a scene heading. So you hit 1. This is action, so you hit 2. This again is action, so you hit 2. So far, it doesn't look like it's doing anything. But now I get to Dorothy. That's a character. So now I hit 3. Boom. This is Dorothy's dialogue. So I hit 5. This again is action, 2. This is a character, 3. This is the dialogue, 5. And it's gotten to the end of this very, very short script. So at that point, you'd hit OK. You'd close the format menu and hit escape. And there you are with your formatted text. Now, I spoke through everything, but if you're just in the program, you can just be with your fingers on the things and hitting it. And you could very quickly go through an entire like 100-page script and get it into script format, which is beautiful if you're doing this for something other than just getting a brief outline of your story. So in summary, dictation is a skill you can develop, and you can be creative without typing. I love it. There are free tools that can do a decent job. AI can do the tedious fixing of capitalization and punctuation, and you can dictate and format a screenplay. So thank you. I'm Meg Stout, but as a writer, I go by Tsuyin Chu. Now, some additional addenda. How do I journal? And finally, just to be detailed about how I do my workflow currently, and this may change tomorrow,